Welcome aboard, shipmates. This is Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories, a training program created for the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps by our supporters and friends at the Navy Talent Acquisition Group in Philadelphia. I'm your host, Warrant Officer David Sheets of the Naval Sea Cadet Corps. I am joined once again by my all-Navy support crew of MC-1 Quinlan, who's our PAO, and STG-1 Lewison, who's our Technical Support Director. Today's topic, what is it like to be a Navy retail services specialist? This is a real important function, cadets. Pay attention. You'll see how important it is in a few moments. And our presenter today, she is a special guest. She is Chief Petty Officer Adam from the Navy Recruiting District in Jacksonville, Florida, coming all the way streaming live for your education. So, cadets, this is an interactive presentation, just like all of our events. When you have questions, put them in the comments section of the video. And I hope you have plenty. Chief is ready to go. She's going to answer everything that you throw at her. It is going to be great. And when we're done with this presentation, there will be that quiz available to you if you wish to take it. If you complete it, you'll get 2 hours of virtual drill credit. It'll be active for 2 days. So just don't sit on it. Get it done. No problem. So, Chief, this ship is all yours. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chief Petty Officer Adam. I am a retail specialist type, formerly known as a ship serviceman. I've been in the Navy a little over 12 years. I am currently stationed at NTAG, Jacksonville, Florida. Before Jacksonville, Florida, I was stationed on a destroyer out in Hawaii. I was there for 3 years on the destroyer, USS Chaffee, DDG 90. And before USS Chaffee, I was stationed at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. I was at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam for about 3 years. And prior to Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, I was at USS Donald Cook, DDG 75 out in Norfolk, Virginia, but they are currently in Spain. A little bit about me, I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I joined the Navy right after high school. 5 days after I graduated high school, I decided to go to a recruiting station to join the Navy. Joined without my father's permission. I just went and signed this paperwork because I was 18 at the time. When I left for boot camp, which was 6 months later, to Great Lakes, Illinois, it was during the winter. I went to boot camp in January 2008. When I got there, it was a little bit cold. I'm not used to the snow. I'm more like a summer person because I lived in Florida most of my life. So when I got to Great,
yes. What was your decision of joining the Navy? Because you had other options, right? And it was a pretty bold move of just, hey, Dad, I just joined the Navy. Get over it. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what was your decision and how well did that play out?
Well, so the thing is, when I joined the Navy, actually, I did not tell my parents.
Okay.
I wanted to join the Navy right in high school, not after I graduated. I asked my dad to sign the paperwork when I was 17. He said no. I had great grades in high school. I was a straight A student. I was accepted into FSU. And I didn't want to go to college right away. I wanted to take a break. I like to travel. I used to spend the summer in New York, Pennsylvania, and other states. And traveling for me, what was, that made my choice to join the Navy instead of going to college. And I wanted that break. So, and also a little bit of independence. So when I joined, I didn't tell my dad. I did till like 2 months after I joined. And he was not very happy about it. I'm his only child. And
okay.
Although with my dad, his mentality was, if you join the military, you're gonna die, but that's not the case. So I had to change his mind that his only daughter is not gonna die by joining the Navy. But yeah, I joined.
He wasn't in the military himself, right?
No, he wasn't. I am a first generation military member, actually. No one in my family has ever joined the military.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, so when I went to Great Lakes, Illinois. Say again, sir?
Why join the Navy? I mean, there are other options out there.
I love the ocean, especially living in Florida. I spent a lot of time at the beach, and the traveling part, there's no greater place to travel than the Navy. I mean, I had other services, but I didn't want to join the Air Force because it was not for me. I get motion sickness and I didn't like planes that much. I'm more like a water person. So 70% of the earth is covered by water. So I'm like, what's the best way to experience the earth and not, join the Navy, who's what main job is to patrol the ocean. So that's why I did the Navy. And
Nice.
I like the uniform, the Dixie cups, and it's very popular.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So after I joined the Navy, I went to Great Lakes, Illinois. Very cold. I had a rough time at first, because I was a very girly girl in high school. So I had to get used, do different things. It wasn't the physical aspect of the Navy that, I had a hard time with. It was being away from my family and also learning the discipline. It wasn't something I was used to. It's not like in high school I had the GOTC, things like that, to grow up with. So everything was new to me. It was foreign. So I had a harder time, adapting. So
You in an integrated company at boot camp, or was it a female only?
actually, I was an integrated company at boot camp, Division 915. So we were state flags. I wasn't very good at marching because we had to march. So every time we had to go out and march, I happened to have watch because I wasn't that good at marching.
Oh,
But yeah, I was in a state flag company, and yeah, it was great. But we were a mixed division.
okay, very nice.
So Great Lakes, Illinois, graduated, did pretty good when it comes to the academics section of the boot camp, but and also the physical. But like I said, the mental part I struggled with a little bit. I got SIQ a couple times. When I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I was SIQ a couple times. But I did make it through boot camp on time with my class, graduated. Then I went to Meridian, Mississippi for my school, right? Originally, I was a yeoman, but I didn't end up being a yeoman because one of the requirements to be a yeoman is a secret clearance. And at the time, I was a U.S. Resident, and as a U.S. resident, I couldn't get a secret clearance. So I had to change jobs, right? So I changed job to the ship serviceman. At first, I didn't know much about the ship serviceman. I did my research on the yeoman rating, but not the ship serviceman rating. So when I had to change job, I was a little bit disappointed because that's not what I came in the Navy to do. But I sat down with my class instructor, and he was in the supply community. He talked to me about it. He's like, well, you can choose to be a ship serviceman, and within 2 years, you can, request to change your job back to yeoman. But when I went to the school, graduated, I was not great in the class. I didn't graduate top of my class because I
Okay.
guess I was just a little bit aggravated.
Okay, so your mind really wasn't wrapped around, and you weren't really motivated to do the SH rating. Is that what
No, not at first because that's not what I came with. I came in as a yeoman, and my mind was I'm gonna be a yeoman, and that's all I was set on.
Okay.
So I had a little rough time at
Okay.
first.
Right. Okay.
So when I graduated from ship serviceman school out of Meridian, Mississippi. There is nothing there, by the way, but it gives you time to focus on your academic skills and in your schools and becoming a great student and sailor. So I left Meridian, Mississippi, and I went to Norfolk, Virginia. So originally, my ship was supposed to be in Norfolk, Virginia, but then my ship was out doing a thing called Joint Warrior. So a joint warrior is when you go to different countries and then you like train. We do war games, and you meet different navies, and you just out in the ocean. My favorite part of the Navy, honestly. You do different war fightings, trainings, and stuff like that. And my first port happened to be Scotland. So I went to Glasgow, Scotland. And that was after 3 months of being in the Navy. So I was so excited. And when I got to the ship too, it gives me a whole new appreciation of my rate because when I got there, I see what the ship servicemen were doing and what the yeomen were doing. I got the opportunity to compare. So I fell in love with my job at the time. So from Scotland, we went to Denmark. We went to Copenhagen, another great place, expensive, but great. So, I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is, different. I can do this. Like I said, 18 years old, first time out of my parents' house on my own. I was experiencing the world. I was enjoying what I was doing. And then from Denmark, we went to Canada, which is kind of very far, it's different, coming from Denmark to Canada. So Canada was my third port visit, and that was less than 4 months of being in the Navy. So we did that, and then went back to Norfolk. We did our training phase, which is get the ship ready for deployment. I did my first deployment after being in the Navy for a year, and within that year, I was doing everything that needed to get done, and I got promoted to E4, right? So it was a spot promotion. I took the exam one time. I didn't make E4. So the commanding officer thought I was doing my job and I was doing more. I was doing above and beyond. So my commanding officer decided to spot promoted me to E4.
Hey, that's really great.
Yes, sir. So when I got promoted to E4, I was excited because the thing with being spot promoted in the Navy, you do get automatic pay. So I got promoted today, and the following week it was payday. I was getting E4 pay, and also within a month I had to take the E5 exam, because the thing with the spot promotion, it went back to the 6 months before, because I got promoted in December. And I think it went back to July. So I was able to take the exam actually, I got promoted in December, and I was able to take the exam in March for E5. I didn't know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're taking the E5 exam. How long have you been in the Navy at this point in time?
So I've taken the E5 exam. At this point, I've been in the Navy a year and 2 months.
That is really impressive.
Yes.
Okay. Very nice.
The thing with the promotion, especially when it comes to E4 to E5, you have a 12 months to take the E5 exam. But if you get an evaluation that says you are early promoted, you can take it early. So me getting advanced spot promoted kind of give me that, that little push I needed to take the exam early. So
Okay.
I took the exam after being in the Navy for 18 months. I did not get promoted to E5 the first time. Reason being, I did not know the job. And quite honestly, I don't think I put in much effort. I was just enjoying life as an E4, and I was enjoying my time out of my parents' house, at 18. So that's what I was doing. But the second time I didn't make it either. Because the thing with my rate, my job, it is a hard job to get promoted in. When you had promotion opportunities at 2%, 3%, it's kind of rough when you're going against other people, right? So I didn't get promoted the first time, the second time, and the third time I didn't get promoted. I missed the promotion by less than a point. So what I did when I didn't get promoted the third time, and I saw how close I was, I'm like, less than a point. I don't even have to answer a question to even, get promoted with less than a point. So I decided to take my profile sheet, which was my advancement, result. I decided to print it out, and I decided to carry it in my back pocket for 6 months, right? Every time I wash my clothes, I took it, put it back in my back pocket. And that is what I used to study for 6 months until it was time to take the exam again. So when it was time to take the exam again for E5 for the fourth time, that's like 2 years, right?
Right.
I went in, I took the exam, and I was done within 30 minutes. The exam normally is 3 hours. I was done within 30 minutes. Because I knew I had it. I knew I studied everything I needed to study to make rank. So I did make rank this time. I scored 50 points over the requirement, and I was one of them people who got paid first.
Excellent.
So for me, that was my motivation.
So And I'm glad you ended off with the word motivation, because one of our cadets was asking, and like, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because you had a disappointment at the very beginning, right? So you went in wanting to be a yeoman, but then, due to requirements, switched over to a different rate. Okay. And then, you were enjoying yourself, which was great. You were moving along, and then you started taking rating exams and you weren't getting where you needed to go, right? So there's one thing with effort, because a lot of people can put effort into it, but it
Mhm.
has to be like in your heart, in your soul, in order to do it, to be successful at it, right? So
Yes.
how, how did you get yourself in that mental space in order to overcome those challenges and to be successful?
So for me at the time, I look at the first two times, that I didn't put in anything into it. The third time, I knew I put enough into it. The fourth time, I knew I had to put more than enough. I had to do more than my best, especially when the investment opportunity is at 2 3%. So what I used was, why can't I be one of those 2 3%? Why can't I be one? As long the opportunity is there is no reason why you can't do it. You just have to give yourself a fighting chance. And for me, I know if I studied enough and studied, learn what needed to be learned, I give myself a fighting chance. And at that time, if I didn't get it, I had no one to blame. I couldn't blame myself or anyone because I knew I gave it all. And giving it all, that's how I managed to make it. I didn't give up when it was 3% because I can be one of the 3%. I don't have to be in the 90%. I can be the 3%. I can be the 1%. As long the opportunity is there, you just got to grab it. The outcome may not be the desired outcome, but it's still there. The opportunity is still there for you to give it your best.
Excellent. Thank you.
So from there, like I said, I learned my job because as an E5, you have more responsibilities. I started getting involved in the rate. I started giving back. Helping young sailors learn the job. I started being more involved at the command. I started doing more of the work center soup, the 3M maintenance, the DCPO maintenance. That's the great thing about being on a ship. Honestly, you have the opportunity to do everything. You have the opportunity to be a firefighter. You have the opportunity to be a doctor's assistant. I'm not saying anyone is a doctor, but if someone pass out on the ship, you do have the opportunity to give them mouth to mouth. You have the options. If someone is choking on something, you can help them. Survive. I did the security force team on the ship. Whenever they had security alert, which is like when things are wrong, like someone coming to the ship unauthorized, or there's like a bomb threat or something that looks like a bomb threat. I was part of that team that when the command needed. So I got more involved and more involved. And getting more involved, it had its reward, right? I don't do it for the reward, but sometimes when you do the right thing and you do what needs to be done without expecting anything in return, it comes, right? The right people is gonna see what you're doing and you're gonna get rewarded. Um, so I did that, and then I went in. Oh, yeah. So as an E4, I did win Junior Sailor of the Year for as an E4. I left my ship as an E5. That's after 5 years of being there. Um, and by the time I left the ship, I went to shore duty. Shore duty is where you get the break, from the ship and being on shore. It's like going to a building, civilian job. You go and you do your job. You go home at the end of the day to your family. So I did shore duty. My shore duty was not the norm, right? Because as a ship service, as a retail specialist, we do not have a lot of shore duty. So my shore duty had to do with the barracks. So when I went to the barracks in Hawaii, um, I was working there for about a month before I was told to do something else. So this new job I was doing had to do with pay and allowance. So as an E5, I was responsible for all the BH processing, all the TLAs. So all the new check-ins that came to Hawaii had to come see me in my office. So I was like processing about 500, 550 people, a month, if not more, whenever they come to the island. So I was doing that. Um,
That sounds pretty close to a yeoman's job, doesn't it?
it is. So I was doing that yeoman's job for 3 years. I worked for one of a great captain of mine. He just retired. We fall under the direction and command of Admiral Fuller. He's not there anymore. So I did that job. And with that job, I also was responsible for all the airmen and all the sailors in Hawaii. So for the barracks assignment, I was responsible for that. And when they had to start getting BAH, which is the basic housing allowance, I was responsible for making sure they were qualified to start getting it. So as an E5, that was a major job, right? Then I got involved in the CFL program because I like working out a lot. So I started doing that, started helping my shipmate get in shape. And from there, I went on to win a Junior Sailor of the Year for Navy Region Hawaii. And I was on shore duty for about a year and a half before I was eligible for the first class exam. And when I took the first class exam, again, motivation is always going to be my thing. I'm always going to go back to that. Being out of my job, because on shore duty, doing the BH and TLA, that has nothing to do with a retail specialist. Because as a retail specialist, our job is to work in the barbershop, the ship store, order the uniform items, the stuff we need for the ship store to help the crew happy. And being on shore duty, that was not my job. So I had to make the time to learn my job. So what I did was I set up a time to where I would study at least 3 times a week, 2 hours every day. So I did that for 6 months straight. The moment I knew I was eligible for the exam, I started studying for 6 months straight. And what I told myself was, I am going to put on first class first time up. I don't know why, but I told myself that. And when I went to take the exam, I bought my first class crow. I did the same thing for second class the 4th time. I bought my first class crow. And I had it in my pocket. And then when the quotas came out, it was, I think, 5%. And everyone was like, no, you're not going to make it. I'm like, I'm going to make it, watch. So the results came out. And I was in there. I made it by 7 points. It wasn't the 50 points, but it was 7 points. I'm like, I'll take 7. So I scored 97 on my exam just to put on first class. I didn't get paid first. I was one of the last ones to get paid, but I made it.
Very nice.
So from there,
tell us a little bit about the RS rating, because this is something that we haven't covered before on the program, and the cadets definitely would get something out of this.
All right. So the retail specialist, service specialist, it was formerly known as the ship serviceman. It was changed this year to the retail service specialist. Our job on the ship differs, right? Or shore duty. A lot of people always assume our job is to work with the vending machine, the barber shop, the laundry rooms, but there is more that goes into our job. Our job, we also are responsible for procuring supplies for the ship store. We also do accounting aspect of it. So whenever we procure stuff, we still have to reconcile the paperwork, the documents. And also we work with some funds for the Navy, the working capital funds, trust funds. So all your money that the ship used to buy the equipment, the workout equipment, or anything that they need that helps with cruise morale comes from the ship servicemen, from the retail service specialist rating. So we do more. We do deal a lot with the MWR. We do deal a lot with the barbershop, the laundry, the ship store, the dry cleaning. We used to have dry cleaning. We don't have that anymore. But when you come to a ship, just like when you go to high school, you have the football team, you have your varsity, and you have the other team. We are the varsity of the ship or any place you go, because anywhere you go, you're going to come in contact with a retail service specialist. I don't think they have them on submarines yet, but on ships, carriers, destroyers, or any other platform, you're going to have the retail service specialist. And we are the varsity team of the U.S. Navy.
So, I mean, the jobs that we're looking at here, like from barbers, people need that. Maybe not myself, but people need that, right? Laundry, getting shoe repairs, tailors, all that type of stuff. Cadets, you have to keep in mind that a ship is a total self-contained entity. It's not like you could go somewhere to get this done, and all these things need to get done, right?
Yes.
So it's all part of that city at sea type of thing, and this can be a pretty intense thing because it has to be there, like you said, Chief, or it definitely impacts morale, and morale is everything for warfighting effectiveness.
Exactly. So, on ship, the energy drinks are very important. You do have people who smoke, and when we run out of those things, everything go crazy. So we have to make sure that we replenish. So whenever you are to see, we have to replenish somehow. And we, as a ship serviceman, our job is also to order, the right amount for the crew and take care of them that way.
Okay, very nice.
Next slide, please. Next slide. All right, so that's just, yeah, like I said, you get haircuts. We're giving haircuts to the CNOs, sometimes even the presidents when they come to ship, if they visit. They always ask for the barber, always the best barber. I am not a good barber, by the way, so please don't ask me for a haircut. You will not like my bold cut.
So it made a lot of money though during COVID-19. So don't put it around.
Yes, right now, COVID-19, with that, people don't have to get a haircut every 2 weeks. But in the Navy, prior to COVID-19, the requirement was to get a haircut every 2 weeks. So, next slide, please. All right, like I was saying, for the ship servicemen, we are not on every platform. We are not on submarines, but we are on carriers. Our rating is very small, which is our community. We don't have a lot of us. We are part of the supply team. So on ships, you'll hear them call them S3s because we're like the third division within supply. But our job is very valuable. Most ships right now currently have Starbucks, and for your Starbucks on the ship, it is manned by the ship serviceman rating. And this video that's going to be played next just give you a little idea about the ship serviceman and how it works.
Not Allen, because Gerald Ford is from Michigan. That's it, right? Y'all gonna cut that last part out.
The most popular places on the ship are the vending machines, the ship store, and more than likely the coffee shop. Our job on board the ship is to provide snacks to the crew, provide a morale for the crew. Our day usually starts off, we come in the store and make sure all the barcodes are up, make sure everything scans and everything is in its right place for when the store opens, it's presentable to the crew. Everybody comes in and starts shopping, and we usually provide the customer service to everybody, ask them do they need help with anything. Some of our other duties are cutting hair.
The most fun thing about my job is getting to meet people and see people.
Doing the crew's laundry.
You want to make sure your uniform is clean, sanitary, and smelling good.
Also learning accounting within our rates of inventory, our stock. We also have mustering, making sure everybody's accounted for, everybody's safe.
Our main purpose here is to make sure that all the junior sailors, they actually getting full benefit of the bag room. We want to make sure they are comfortable and they are living in the best living condition possible. And it's a wrap.
Yeah, so like I was saying, with the ship serviceman community, we do not have we don't have a lot to choose from when it comes to shore duty. We mainly seagoing rating. Again, like I said, one of our main important part of our job is morale, is to make sure that we get what the crew need, so the mission can keep going. But as SHS do retail service specialist personnel, we do more than just our job. Like I said, we involve in other things, firefighting, medical casualties and special security forces. It's just more to the job than most people know. A lot of people don't know about the ship serviceman rating. Like I said, it's very small. And at the beginning of this presentation, I said I did not like my job at first, but after putting on first class and I realized the opportunities the job offers, I decided to, I never changed the job because I saw what the humans did and I saw what the retail service specialists do. I did not want to change it. I fell in love with the job and yeah, and here I am today. After I left the Pearl Harbor, the shore duty, I went to the ship, and I made chief when I was leaving the ship. So and I made it chief last September 2019. Yeah, everywhere I've been so far, I've gotten promoted, and it seems that's the trend that I plan on keep doing. It's very rare for to meet ship serviceman or retail service specialist sailor being a chief less than 15 years or 18 years. It's not the norm to see a 12-year chief in my job. But like I said, with motivation and knowing what I wanted to do, I definitely did make it happen. And that's one thing I always tell my junior sailors: if you want it, you can get it. As long as the opportunity is there, you can get it.
So, Chief, one of the things I noticed about you is you have your surface warfare designator.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that goes back into the point that you were describing a few moments ago about when you're on ship, you're involved with a lot of things, right? And like
Yeah.
an incredible amount of things. So what was it like for you to get your surface warfare qual when you're also being, an RS at this point in time and learning all that? Because it's not just your rate anymore, right? It's the entire ship. So that's a significant effort in order to achieve that.
Yes, sir. Whether you are on a surface warfare platform or you on a air platform, aircraft carriers, you have to either get your surface if you're on a surface ship, or if you're on an aircraft carrier, you have to get your airplane. Those are it's look ill upon if you don't have them. Let's say if I went to the ship and I didn't get it, that would have been a problem. Actually, I got my surface warfare pen after being in the Navy for 9 months. So when I got to my ship, it's something I wanted to get. It was not mandatory at the time. It was something, if you wanted to get it, you could get, request. I had to actually request to get it. And before I requested to get it, there's certain qualifications I had to meet. And once I became qualified, I actually was the only seaman on the ship with a surface warfare pen. And there were a lot of sailors that were more senior than me. They didn't have a surface warfare pen. So a surface warfare pen, you have to know your ship. You can't just get it just to get it. You have to know your ship. You have to know where the generators are located, where the gas turbines, where the shaft. So you have to know your ship in and out, forward to aft. You have to know it. So it was very hard to get. Like I said, everything I do, I dedicated. It's something when I got to the ship, I wanted to get it done and be done with it. And once I got it, I was getting a lot of things followed after that. So, but if you go to a ship, you don't get it, it's actually looked ill upon. So, you're not in the Navy if you're not getting your surface warfare pen. If the opportunity is there, you have to do it. Now it's mandatory, I believe, that if you go to a ship, you don't have a choice but to get it. They also have a timeline of when you can get it.
Okay. All right. That's very good. One of the questions from our cadets, and this is actually a pretty nice one, is that, okay, when you were having challenges making advancements due to the exams and things like that, so you had your own, way of motivating yourself to do that, which is quite admirable, which you shared with us, and that was really great. Did anyone, look down upon you, or did you feel like people were judging you because you weren't achieving that? Or did you feel that way at all? Because these are hard things, and when you're trying to accomplish something and you fail, right? Sometimes the reaction you get from the people that you're working with and living from could be really devastating, or not. So what was it like?
Well, so when I first joined the Navy, when I was on the ship, I was looking at sailors that were on the ship before me. They were there, within my job, actually. they were in the Navy for about 12 years, 10 years, and they were still like E4s. And one thing I look at, I'm like, I did not choose college for this. I didn't want to get stuck as an E4 for 8 years, 10 years. Right. So there was time when I was studying over, and people was like, you're not going to make it, you just accept your fate, yeah. And especially those who were getting promoted before me, because some of the jobs in the Navy, promotion is 100%. So, when you have people you've been in the same amount of time and they're like 1 pay grade or 2 pay grades ahead of you, it kind of like, for me, it was a motivation I needed. Because I did not want anyone who's been in the Navy 5 years, 10 years, that's the amount of time I am telling me what to do. I don't know. I always had that idea that I wanted to be where they were. And I did not want to be, like my supervisor. I didn't want to be in the Navy as an E4 for 8 years. So when those people looked down on me and they were telling me I wasn't going to make it, that was a motivation for me. I had to prove them wrong, and I had to prove myself right that I can do this.
Okay. That's good. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know I talk about my job and being in the Navy, and what I did in the Navy. I was standing security watches. I was standing special security watches. I was chief of the guard, which is like when you go overseas, you count. There's a lot of jobs I didn't tell with the chief of the guard. I did all that. I did stuff that was not the norm. So every time someone look at me, they could be like, oh, wow, I know, I know SH2, I know SH1, I know, SH3. So I was always doing things, not because I wanted to do them for me. I wanted to do things because I wanted to give back. I wanted to, I guess, prove my father wrong.
I was going to ask that. I was a little reluctant, I must admit, but, at that point in time, you're really starting to accomplish stuff, right?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
What was the family reaction to this, or did you keep this all like to yourself? I mean, what are they starting to say? Yeah, you were right, or nothing? How'd that go?
Actually, once I graduated boot camp, I sent my dad my boot camp picture because he was not there for my graduation. He was still mad with, at me the whole time. So. Really? Okay. Yeah, he was. So I sent him my graduation picture, and this graduation picture is still sitting in our living room at home. As I was getting promoted, I was telling him, but my dad didn't understand the military term. Like I said, I'm a first generation military member. But it wasn't until I put on chief that I sent him an invitation to my penning. And then my whole family came. I was in the middle of a move coming from Hawaii because I found out on the way from Hawaii to here. My whole family came, and my dad told me he was proud of me, in high school and throughout the year. But when he saw that, for him that was so different. Wow. And actually saw my dad shed a little tears,
Yeah, it would be a dry eye the whole group. Right.
Yeah, it was definitely different, and, he took my picture and, he showed his friend. He's like, oh, my daughter's a chief in the Navy now. So for him, that's a big accomplishment. And today my dad is like my biggest supporter, always. Now he tells me, he's like, I am so happy you did not listen to me. You made your own decisions. So he is 100% behind my decision today.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, like I was saying, being in the Navy is not always, you have moments, that are great. You have moments that are bad. But if anyone asks me whether the bad moments, I'll do the good, I would always say no. Because me, I had more great moments in the Navy than I've had bad. I've gotten the opportunity to travel 32 countries on the Navy's dime. I've had the opportunities to, get my associate and my bachelor, currently working on my master's. I've had the opportunity to apply for the LDO program 4 times, STA 21 once, OCS once. And for me, if I didn't, made that decision against my father's judgment, to join the Navy, that would have never happened. I probably would have graduated from high school because I probably partied too much and, just failed school. I'm in college, in Fell College. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to 32 countries. I've been to Seychelles, Madagascar. How many people watch the movie Madagascar? I've been to all those countries people never heard of, the great, the bad, and I've had that experience. And for me, I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. I have about 7.5 years left in the Navy, and I want to leave the Navy in great hands. I've done a lot of great things since being in the Navy, and I want to see that, keep going. I'm not biased when it comes to being military, but I'm biased when it comes
yeah, right.
I'm really biased when it comes to my Navy. Yeah, so, but again, like I said, coming from a seaman recruit to being a chief petty officer, all in 12 years in the Navy, and with everything else I've accomplished since being in the Navy is great.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And I wouldn't change anything about becoming a retail service specialist. I hope everyone can, who's watching this, go on YouTube and do a little bit research on the retail service specialist rating, because I think we are the varsity team of the Navy. Everyone knows who we are, minus some submariners, but they don't know a lot of people. But the retail service specialist is vital to a ship, to the ship crew. Because when people don't have what they need, when they need that distraction out on deployment in the middle of the ocean, the place they're going to go to is the ship store. The place they're going to go to is the barbershop. The place they're going to go to is the laundry. You need that job on the ship, and you need that job everywhere. So I recommend everyone go do a little research.
It's a sense of normalcy, too, if you think about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
And for the Sea Cadet watching, I hope you guys take something out of this. Again, like I said, motivation is important. If you know it, the opportunity is there. Take the opportunity. It's there. As long as the opportunity is provided, it can be yours. You just got to grab it and take it and run with it. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, because anything is possible if you set your mind to it.
Excellent advice.
And these are my pictures from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. I was there for 6 years, and every year I volunteered for that, for the remembrance. It's not a ceremony, I call it remembrance. And the picture on the left is me coming from deployment. I had the opportunity to go to South Korea during that deployment in Singapore. In the middle was me volunteering, and the bottom right was me volunteering, but this gentleman having a great day just came and give me a kiss on the cheek. It's probably one of my favorite pictures.
That is such a great picture. And look at that. Awesome. So clearly he's a Pearl Harbor survivor, and the fact that you're there probably meant everything to him.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and also I think a lot of people probably asking the questions what it's like being a female in the Navy or on a ship. Mm-hmm. It's no different. All right. I may not be able to carry the same thing as my male shipmate. You don't sleep in the same sleeping arrangement, but at the end of the day, it's no different. We all treat each other with respect. I never thought the Navy treated me any different because I was a woman or because my shipmates were male. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that part.
Yeah, and that's really important too, because you're judged. Because everybody's judged, you can't help it. But you're on your ability and how you're supporting everyone else, not any other characteristics, because the rest of those characteristics don't matter.
No.
So one of the questions that just came from the cadets, and I thought it was really nice, was, is there a particular decision that you made in the Navy that you regret? Because not everything's been perfect, right? So is there something decision you regret, and why?
Well, I do speak my mind a lot.
Okay. As a chief, you're allowed to, so that doesn't matter. So this is perfect.
Yes, but one thing you have to remember, you hear that a lot. Sometimes you have to pick your battles, right? You have to pick your battles, and also there's a place and time. So I did have an incident. I'm not perfect. All right. So I've been a captain's mast 4 times. If anyone don't know what captain's mast is when you do stupid stuff. You do stuff that are irresponsible, and you have to go see your captain or commander, and you have technically to get judged, right? So I had to get judged 4 times. And all 4 times, though, I never got convicted. So I guess I'm not a convict. um, but out of all those 4 times, I was a young sailor at the time. And if I had to, made a different decision or say something different from those times, I would definitely do that. Because every time I went up, it was always for the same issue, right? So I guess it was more like a self-denial. So I guess me as a sailor, I should have realized that sometimes it's okay to admit you're not perfect, because no one is perfect. And sometimes it's okay to ask for help, right? And I think that's where I run into a lot of issues. My background is different. I wasn't born here. I was born on the islands. So the way I do things different, the way I talk to people different. But just because I'm not from here and I have a different background doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to adapt. So when I made those mistakes, after the 4th time, I realized something had to change. That it wasn't the people around me trying to help that was the problem. It was me. So I had to do a self-awareness that, okay, this is a problem and I need to address it. So I did that, and I haven't gotten in trouble ever since. So again, sometimes it's okay to, realize that we're not perfect. It's okay to take criticism. So that's what I learned. And after those 4 times, like I said, it took me 4 times, but I'm not going to say exactly what happened, but.
That's all right. Although I'm dying to know, but I don't want to know. Well, okay, maybe. But, okay. But that's the thing. So if you're going to Captain's Mast 4 times for the same event, okay, or the same type of thing, but regardless of that, right? Yeah. Did you find that when you ended up in that type of position that although maybe you have made a mistake, people were trying to help you in some way to reorient you, or were they just there to vent at you? I mean, was it useful?
Actually, yes, it was. The first time when I went, I'm like, yes, I'm going to change it. Then I went and did the same thing again. So I wasn't, I was not fixing the issue because I just thought nothing was wrong. But after the 4th time, I actually did, get some self-realization that they weren't the problem. They were trying to help me, because as a first class or second class, I should not be going to Captain's Mast, because going to Captain's Mast as a first class is technically a career killer. It kind of stopped promotion for chief and stuff like that. And I did not want to put my career at risk, especially when I worked so hard. And yeah, so the 4th time, my commanding officer, he talked to me. He's like, if anything happened, your career is end right now. And he's like, these are like little things that can be fixed. So he's like, this is what I need you to do. I need you to do this and fix the issue. And I actually did listen, because he actually took the time and he sat down with me on a sailor level, that I needed to change this. This is a problem. This is not what our Navy needs right now. So I did make the change. And at the end of the day, like I said, I learned from that experience. And here we are today. So they were trying to help. They weren't trying to get me in trouble. Sometimes some people do try to get you in trouble. They're trying to like do something, but not everyone have it bad out for you. Not everyone can hate a sailor. Sometimes you do have those people who have the best interests out for you, especially when they know you play an important part of the team and you bring a lot to the table.
And that's actually a really good lesson, because cadets, we do talk a lot about what's it like being in the Navy or being in the military, and then you compare it to like being in the civilian world. And that kind of counseling and I want you to be better and you're important to me is far more prevalent in this area than it is in the civilian community, because it's like, okay, you've disappointed me, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that you go into the military because you know you're going to have mistakes and people are going to have to help fix you. That's not the goal, right? But, that whole term shipmate actually means something.
It does. Yeah.
And you are looking to help out your fellow shipmate, right? In good times and bad. And that, that person's really out for your best interest in the bad times because they're there for you. And that never goes away, right?
Never. No.
So even after retirement, there'll be people, Chief, willing to help you out, and you'd step up to help anyone else out. I'm guarantee you.
Yes, it's there. The term shipmate is very it's a strong word. That's the great thing about our Navy. And when you messed up, they don't just throw in the bag or just throw you to the side. They actually try to help and take care of you. In a civilian job, if you messed up, that's it, you're done. But with the military, they give you opportunities and chances and the resources to actually help, sailors. That's why they have all those fleet and families, centers, and they have all those jams. They have a lot of resources for their sailors. They value their sailors, they value their military members because they give them everything that they need and everything that is essential. So that's one thing you don't get in the civilian sector.
Right. And, I think this is like a really perfect time to, kind of wrap up our discussion here, because I don't think we can get much, in depth in this, because you're definitely talking about the core of being like a sailor, and I could say in the military, but we're focused on the Navy. So why go anywhere? But the fact that, every job's important. Everyone is trying to have you as their shipmate. Everyone looks up to you and each other. And that whole, I got your back kind of thing, cadets, this really happens. And Chief is a perfect example of that. And I'm so thrilled and happy that, you took the time, Chief, to share your story with us, because I think it's very inspirational. Right. And cadets, I hope you're getting something out of this too, because, we're looking at a person who's dedicated themselves down a path that maybe wasn't necessarily supported, right? She chose her own way. She had obstacles along the way, but then look at her now, right? What'd you say, 12 years in and you're chief?
Yes, sir.
Any chief I see that has red chevrons just blows my mind, right? Because that is a huge accomplishment, not just making chief, but making it at that rate, because you don't become chief just because of one factor. It's the total person, right? And it is a tremendous honor. And those of you in the Sea Cadet Corps who are aspiring to, get to the chief rank, which I hope every single one of you are, that's that same level of standard and conduct that we want from you as well. I mean, you're the deck plate leaders of our organization, just like Chief Adam is doing her thing with the Navy right now. So really fantastic stuff. So on that behalf, Chief, again, I really want to thank you for taking time to present your story to us. Really appreciate it. Again, thank you for everything that you're doing. As you said in your presentation, no job's unimportant, and I have a tremendous respect for what's going on in the RS right now, because it was something unfamiliar to me. But without it, life is really dismal.
Yes.
So you're making life so much better for our sailors. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And cadets, remember, as soon as we're done with this live broadcast, the URL for the online quiz will be available to you. So please take that quiz and get your 2 hours of virtual drill credit. And we will see you again next time for another episode of Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories. So give us a big thumbs up, give us a hoo-yah in the comment section for Chief, and see you next time. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening.